Traders, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about NIO. Now, I didn't want to make a video on NIO back to back days, but today EV got brutally assaulted. I'm talking prison style. It was rough.
Do you really expect me to not push you up against the wall, biatch?
So to save the integrity of the channel, I had to give an update on EV even when we're getting crushed. I mentioned yesterday I was looking to get into options today. However, we opened the day very bearish below the support, so I could not justify entering into options just yet. However, at the end of today, we hit a very crucial buy point. And I believe going into tomorrow morning, if we open up flat, I will be looking for entries for longer dated calls going into the beginning of May on NIO, because I do believe EV will start to perk up. I do want to highlight a comment though from yesterday's video. I was talking about holders need to watch now, and then he said, "You mean bag holders need to watch now?" It's true. NIO's been a really rough road for some of you guys. I understand. For me personally, I've been adding on the way up, and then on the way back down, I got my average jack down a little bit lower. Looks pretty good. However, I'm not too concerned in the long-term viewpoint. Short-term, that's what we're talking about right now with EV. And I do still believe, yesterday wasn't a clickbait video, I believe $48 to $50 is the target on NIO going into the end of April, maybe even the middle of May. But I see EV bouncing back very strong. It's completely oversold, probably the most undervalued sector in the entire market today. But I'm going to go over some really big news that we had on Tesla that's directly affecting NIO. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Okay, so people wouldn't really think this affects directly into NIO, but I believe Tesla carries the whole EV market. They are the leader. If they start to go down, most EV will follow, unless it's not directly affecting, I guess, these other players. But this does affect EV because the production in Tesla will most likely coincide with NIO, XPEV, and Li Auto. So as we look, they announced the delaying of their Model S and Model X products for this quarter, giving a really broad statement of they might be pushed all the way back to July, a May to July timeframe. So I guess there's actually potential for some good news going into May, because if this comes out, I can guarantee Tesla sees a really nice jump in price. So that's something to look forward to. But giving a nice little pillow of space for us to get that news is good, so we aren't just waiting on that news and potentially getting a downturn if the EV market starts to actually get that pump back up that we're looking for. So that's something to be looking at. Now, majority of this video is going to be looking at the chart. I want to be going over the support and resistances and where I'm looking. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is point out the fib level retracement that we're seeing from this last leg up. We are pushing back down to this 0.618 range. That's important to know, and we're getting a very strong bounce from this level. Now, I also do want to point out this as well. However, I do want to point out this as well. This is a clear order block range. We can see there's a massive level of support and resistance where we keep getting these tests. And as we zoom back in, you can see that we are now respecting that range, and on the after hours getting pushed quickly back above it. Now, it's important to know the Nasdaq does still look very strong. Indexes still look very strong on the after hours. So we're going to need all the help we can get going into tomorrow. That's going to be worth noting. Going into tomorrow, what we're going to want to see is some sideways action getting above that VWAP first thing in the morning. Like I said, today we opened right underneath the daily open coming down, and we were pretty much double topping at that range as well from yesterday's highs. That's worth noting, and wasn't very good to start the day off. That we did start off the day with a double top, and we were pushing straight back down, which was an indicator this wasn't the time to get in. And then when Tesla released that news, it was just adding things together that this was just going to turn out to be a pretty rough day overall. But it's worth noting that we're getting a bounce in that key range. If we start pushing below this range, I would be pretty concerned, and I would have to pay attention to look for some more potential downside and possibly making a new low below the $34 range. And April could turn out to be pretty bad due to the relative strength of the Nasdaq and all indexes. The economy looks extremely strong and doesn't look like it's going to slow down. It actually looks like we're about to push to all-time highs on the Nasdaq specifically, and possibly even the SPX. So those are things I'm looking forward to, and I think it's going to directly correlate to Tesla back into NIO as well. So I do want to take a look at Tesla's chart really quick. We'll come right back to NIO's. As you're looking at Tesla's chart, what I see obviously is we're getting that gap close. Now, I'm not a huge gap or pattern type trader, but it looks like we're going to get that gap close. However, we could potentially be bouncing at this range as well, because you can see this is a strong order block right here. But the area that you're watching for Tesla to hold above is this area right here, about 690. If we can hold above 690, I'm extremely confident. It's not the 700 range, it's 690. That's where we just cannot hold above. And you see we keep pushing down below, pumping up, below, up, and then we eventually just get rejected below 690, and we come plummeting back down. It's not the 700 range. Yeah, that's a pretty decent size resistance, but 690 is where you want to see us trend above, and that's what's going to start pushing us back above. And then we can look at the OBV to see the volume here. Yeah, we're getting that consolidation, but we're also seeing that breakdown of this pennant that we had forming. You can see, obviously, we're seeing that breakdown. That does not look great. We're going to want to see some bottoming and some sideways consolidation to get back to the upside. That's what we want to see in the short term on Tesla. But back to NIO really quick. NIO's OBV is a bit different. You're seeing a clear downtrend formed here. You were continuously coming back down, testing, coming back up, testing, coming back down. And that's just kind of the overall theme with NIO. It's been on a downtrend for over a month and a half right now, and we're slowly start to see it pick back up. But as of right now, it's pretty brutal, the OBV. Now, we're going to want to see some flatlining. That's all I want to see, is some sideways movement. But what's important to know is that even with this downward trend, we're somewhat still in a good, decent spot. We're higher than these local highs that we had over here when we were pushed back up on the upside. We're still higher than those ranges on the OBV, so buyers are interested. But if we're looking at this, there is cause to be concerned, because if we push back up and start getting pushed back down, my money is going to be on a push back down to that $34 range. So if we lose this 37 order block right here, 37.3 to about 36.80, high possibility we push back down to $34. So that's what I'm watching specifically for on NIO. Going tomorrow is going to be a pretty big day. As we look at the Nasdaq, you can see it's extremely. You can see we're just trending sideways, consolidating. We're about to get a next level break back to the upside. All-time highs are about at this 1390 rate up here. That's where I'm watching for right now. If we get a push above that, who knows how high we can continue to run. I would be looking for a pullback, but the economy looks absolutely ridiculous right now. Tech and EV are lagging behind. Tech is slowly seeing that rebound. Money's flowing back into tech. And I do think EV is set up for a major rebound. I keep emphasizing that. You want to control your risk. I'm not saying go all in or anything like that. Do your own DD. There's a little bit of risk going on right now with the chip shortage, but I believe EV is setting up and it's greatly undervalued. So I'm going to be keeping these updates coming on NIO, specifically on the chart and any news that I'm receiving. But for right now, I want to see some type of sideways action above this 37.5 range. If we can hold above the 37.5, I do believe we'll get that push back up. And then once that trend starts backing up on the upside, I'm targeting $48.5 to $50 over the course of April, and that's going to be my targets on NIO. Again, guys, if you want to see every single trade that I'm doing, when I'm getting in, when I'm getting out, and why I'm doing it, the Patreon link is down below. However, I am live here every single morning for Market Open for about an hour, hour and a half, going over trades, entries, and setups, and taking questions on any potential plays. You guys help me, I help you as well. So I'm going over anything and everything that I'm doing throughout the day. And I'm also saying, if I like a stock that I was going over yesterday, is it setting up for good entries, where we're at there, how the indexes are looking, everything like that. So make sure you tune in there, because I'm going over all that stuff every single day. That's gonna wrap this video up. I make videos every single day, so if you got anything out of this, make sure you hit that thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button. Helps the channel out a lot. Have a good one, traders. Namaste.
Check.